And I just was like, oh, look, I'm over 50. I'm tired.
Okay.
And she cussed me out without cussing me out. Oh, my God.
Welcome back to another lesson of East Main 101. I'm your facilitator, City of Jackson, Tennessee Communications Director Kenneth Cummings. And for today, lesson 26, I am joined with Jackson Police Department's Lieutenant Rochelle Staten. Lieutenant Staten, I'm so happy to have you on. I've known you since the time I had to take a picture for the weightlifting, and I'm excited to talk to you about that and tell our citizens about we have a retired professional bodybuilder who works for the City of Jackson Police Department. Thank you for coming on. I'm looking forward to talking to you about all of this stuff. So, as always, I'll start off by reading the bio. Lieutenant Staten is a native of Leland, Mississippi. Lieutenant Staten has over 24 years of experience in law enforcement with a career beginning in the Dyersburg Police Department. There, Lieutenant Staten progressed from patrol officer to the city's domestic abuse officer. Lieutenant Staten is a recent elite graduate of the National FBI Academy, of which she graduated from a rigorous 11-week course at Marine Corps Base in Quantico, Virginia from September 29th to December 12th, 2024. Classmates from the National FBI Academy were from all over the world, including Korea, Ukraine, and Palestine. And she was the oldest woman and first person of color to attend the FBI Academy from the Jackson Police Department. Other firsts for Lieutenant Staten include being the first black woman to be promoted as sergeant in 2015 and the first black woman promoted to lieutenant in the patrol division in 2019. Lieutenant Staten is also a retired, award-winning IFBB professional bodybuilder, gaining the title in Teaneck, New Jersey in 2018. Lieutenant Staten is a co-founder and co-owner of The Place Jackson, where it is a recovery home for homeless women. They received their first person in February of 2023. Lieutenant Staten, you have a very eclectic bio. Yeah. I think that's a good word for it. It ranges from law enforcement to founder and co-owner of The Place and bodybuilding. First off, let's start off with that bodybuilding. You are a retired IFBB pro. First of all, what does that mean, and what made you want to get into bodybuilding?
Wow. What does that mean? IFBB Pro is International Federation, so it means that I can compete anywhere in the world that has bodybuilding.
Okay.
Which is pretty much anywhere. Okay. And what made me get into it is things came around full circle when I initially came to the United States from the Philippines. Mm-hmm. One of the guys that was in the Philippines with me was really small frame, and then when we got stationed at Scott Air Force Base, he was huge, and I was like, oh wow, how did what happened? And so so I started working out with him. And he introduced me to Linda Murray. Okay. And so at that time, I thought I was 5'4" in height, and her and I was about the same age, in the same way, and I fell in love with her physique. And I was like, okay, I want to do this. Okay. This is what I want to do. And did everything right before I knew about training, before I knew about coaching. I mean, I just ate decent. And life threw a curveball, and then, of course,
life be life.
Life be life, and as the young people say, and life be life. And so, long story short, ended up in Tennessee, and I actually had went to D180 to get in to help me do my second half marathon. Okay, actually. And
so you're a runner too.
I was a distance runner.
Oh wow.
Yes, okay. Yes. Yes, that was my first.
Your first love, okay.
My first love, and fell into that by accident. My senior year in high school, didn't know I had that talent, but ended up having to do emergency lateral release on my knee, and he talked me into doing a show 2 months before my 45th birthday, and I just went through the motion, and then one day I walked by the mirror, I was like, oh, who's that person? And I've been bitten ever since.
You love it.
I did love it.
Well, I mean,
did.
you're still in the gym? You still working
I'm still
out?
in the
So
gym.
you love the working out, the exercise, that
Oh,
part
yes.
of it as well.
Yeah, it's my counseling.
Okay.
It's my
I totally understand.
yeah.
It's
And
my therapy. The same
running.
way. Yes.
Running used to be my before bodybuilding.
Mhm.
Running was my therapy. I would go out to North Park, or I would run the outskirts of Union twice.
Mhm.
That's 9 miles.
That's a lot of running.
I know. Hey, it depends on what's going on in my head.
I totally understand that. I get that. So like I said, we met officially when I had to take your photos for one of our local magazines and for the newspaper.
Yeah.
I actually got to go to the gym with you to
Yeah.
get some photos and to watch you work. You are, as they say, you're a beast in the gym. So you got into it and you found out that it was a love. When you say you you have to go through the competition to get your pro card, correct?
Yeah.
So explain
You start on a local level.
Okay.
And then for me, I started on a Hub City.
Okay.
Hub City. There used to be a show here at Liberty.
Right. Yes.
So that's your local level, and then I did Tennessee State just to see,
Mhm.
what it looks like.
Okay.
Still working on trying to find my way, and then I did a national NPC show is what they call. You have to do an NPC show and qualify top 5
Okay.
to even go to a national show to
Okay.
compete for your pro card.
So and then you have to actually compete to get your pro card.
All of yes,
Okay.
it's not
Okay.
given.
Okay.
Trust me, it's not easy.
So what does it take? I work out. I go to the gym. I have no plans to ever like get into a show, but my social media feeds is all about working out, and I see pro people. I've got a friend of mine who's a pro, Michael Ferguson. I'm not sure if you know him.
Yes, I do know
so
Mike.
I've known Michael for a while. He's a pro. He got his pro card.
He set the tone for men's physique.
He's a beast.
Yes.
He's something else. But how does one get into that realm of, okay, I can first of all, I can do this, and then you're going up against people who've been doing it for years. I know I'm not sure if you can just get your pro card on your first go. You may.
It's hard.
It's hard.
It's
So
very
for
hard.
you, when you got your pro, how did that make you feel when you realized, okay, I am now an IFBB pro? How did that make you feel?
I did it. It's like that was one of my. You have a bucket list,
Mhm.
and beside that bucket list, it's also my goals, and they kind of
Go hand in hand,
interchange
yeah.
with each other. And so my goal was to I needed that pro card. I was not gonna stop until I got that pro card for so many reasons, but I wasn't. I mean, and I was persistent, and I got in my way a lot of times because what it takes is a mindset and a discipline, and a lot of times I would cheat myself because you're not cheating no one else,
Right.
and do things or eat things that I knew I shouldn't, or kind of like, oh, I got 3 more months to get ready for a show, so I don't have to dial in my diet, even though I'm paying a coach
Right.
to do my diet and walk me through. I just so the first year I went to Teaneck, New Jersey was actually 2017,
Okay.
dead last.
Wow. In 2018, you went back.
First.
That's
2017,
a
I
full
was
year.
dead last. I did nothing, and my shout out to Cindy Cardi because Cindy was my coach. I did nothing she told me to do. I mean, I really didn't. I just was like.
Was it because you thought
Tired.
you knew? Okay, it was because you were tired. You just
I was tired.
Okay.
I was having issues with my knee. I totally needed another knee replacement. So working legs was really, really challenging for me. On top of, believe it or not, the things you do for bodybuilding, I would have to get my knee drained to get on the plane before a show, so that the swelling would go down. So it wouldn't be so swollen. But that 2017, my mind was not in it.
Okay.
I was just going through the motion. I was quitting every other month, and 2018 rolled around, January 2018. I remember walking, because she's in Germantown, walking into her home, and I had paid all this money for this very expensive posing coach.
Okay.
Kenny Wallace.
Okay.
He had come down from Jersey. Not only on posing, then he would stay with you all the way through your competition. And I walked in, I was like, you know what, I'm not doing this. I knew my knee was going to be an issue. That was the biggest thing going for me, and I just was like, oh, look, I'm over 50, I'm tired.
Okay.
And she cussed me out without cussing me out. Oh my God.
She reminded you said you wanted to do this.
Yeah. And she doesn't use profanity, but she might as well have that day. And I walked into the back room where we would line up the pose, and Ken Wallace was standing there, and he walked over to me, gave me a hug, and whispered in my ear, he said, "You're going to get your pro card this year. I got you."
Okay.
I was like, oh, okay.
So it's of course posing. I know that part, but
100%.
You got to work out to get that look that they're looking for, I guess.
It's posing, it's eating, it's you got to get your water in, it's eating meals at a certain time. You got to, it's the micros. And she has an art where she can just dial it in as far as, you know, what do you need? What do you need to dry out? What do you need to come in fuller?
Yeah. And
the difference between her and the first coach, my original coach, Charlie, is by her being a female, she understood my body. Because remember, I'm at 50 now.
Right.
So my body is doing this whole thing. It's going through a whole nother change. Welcome to 50 kind of thing. Yeah. We're doing a celebration over here that I didn't like.
Okay.
But, man, that after walking out of her house that day, I started meditating.
Okay.
And because there were some things he was talking to me in my ear, you know, and he was saying, you know, you got to see it, you got to want it. And then her husband was saying the same thing. You are a pro. You don't know you're a pro. And when you don't know you're a pro, it shows on stage. And my posture, which, you know, the vest doesn't help, it makes you lean. Right. And so that with not having the confidence when I go back and look, it did show on stage. Okay. So I had a lot of things working against me, and with the knee thing, I couldn't wear the high heels. So I had to bring my heels down, which I thought I was going to get gigged for, because they take points for everything. Okay. Hair, tanning not being right, body proportion, the littlest thing you get picked for. And it's amazing because you think, well, how can they see all that? Well, I take 3 coats of tan. As dark as I am, 3 coats on that stage.
I guess one with the lighting being so bright, it's going to, okay. So the posing, the working out, the eating, all of that, you get your pro card. Were you able to, did you look back at a 2017 photo and put it next to a 2018? Did you see the difference, the change that you've made mentally, physically? Or have you ever done that?
I haven't.
You haven't done that?
I put them together and I never really just, I put them together. I normally line up 2018 and 2019 because I did a pro show. Okay. 2017, I don't really look at those pictures. I didn't have the lines. I didn't have the, you know what? That was a horrible year. Okay. And I just pictured it in my head, and I mean, it was horrible. Gotcha. And I'm tiny, and I come in small. Anyway, the beauty of it is that I have what you call mature muscles. Gotcha. And so when I dry out, they are beautiful and round and look so huge. 2017,
none of that. None of that was that. No. So, and you mentioned you can't do, there are actually pro shows that only IFBB Pro card members can actually participate in. So somebody who's not a pro can't participate in the actual pro shows. Okay. So after you retired from that, after you got your car, you just like, I'm a pro, I'm good to go. You mentioned you did a 2019 show. Is it placing in those as well, or is it just?
So I got my pro card and I thought, yeah, I have arrived.
Okay.
I have accomplished. You can't go any higher.
Oh,
That is high. That's why Michael is still IFBB Pro. You can't go any higher.
Okay.
That is as high as you can get as far as your card.
Gotcha.
You have truly arrived. You were at the mountaintop.
Okay.
Now what you gonna do with it? I was done.
You got your card.
I did my thank you God, my tears, and I just whoosh out because it's like, oh my God, I did it. But because I pictured myself doing it, if that makes sense, in my meditation. Yes. So I call everybody. I call my first coach first because he the one that got me started. And I call Ian because Ian had a part to play in it, and then I called my dad.
Okay.
Now here's what's funny. I did a show in Mississippi, not far from my dad. Okay. And I was looking. I was dialed in. That was the year I turned pro. I was dialed in, and I said, "Hey, Dad," he was like, "Nah." It was the bathing suit. He was like, "No, I'm not gonna come, but I'll support you." So, and I understood. Yeah. It, so I was like, "Oh, okay." So when I called him, I said, "Hey, I got my pro card." He was like, "Yeah." I said, "So I'm done." He was like, "What do you mean? You're not gonna do a show?" I was like, "Wait a minute. You want me to do a show?" Yeah. But I mean, that's my guy. When I ran track in high school, I would have to call him after each meet, doubling back to something to let you know how he's always supported me. We'll come in, Leland High School, it'd be 2 o'clock in the morning, depending on where we ran, and I might have got second. And I'll call and I'll just be crying. Dude, I got second. He's like, "Well, why you? Because it's second."
So me being a new dad and my first child, it's a girl.
Yes.
People always tell just wait till she's older and you can do the same thing that your dad. Just be there for her and just let her know, hey, you good. So going from, of course, you got this. You have 24 years in law enforcement experience. So you were already a law enforcement officer before you got into your bodybuilding and your pro part. But going into the law enforcement side, first off, tell us a story of why you wanted to go into law enforcement, and then how this bodybuilding and this exercise, how this is helping you now working at JPD.
I never wanted to be a police officer to the world.
It's so funny. That was the same thing Cozart said. He was like, it's not in his...
No.
Okay.
Not in my family DNA.
Yeah. So you're here now, 24 years. That's a long time. What was it that clicked that made you say, okay, I can do this, and then you stuck around with it?
I had just moved here from Tacoma, Washington. Okay. I just moved to Dyersburg from Tacoma, Washington, and I was working at Northwest Prison. I needed a job. I had my kids, and I had my little sisters. So I was dating a guy. Shout out to you, Tracy. I was dating a guy that always wanted to be the police. And I'm like, why? Explain that to me. And so he's like, hey, come take the test with me so I can, he would get very nervous when it came to test taking.
So this is the like a written test or the physical? Okay.
The written test first. See,
okay.
Dyersburg, you had to get past the written test.
Okay.
So I went with him. I passed.
Not even really.
He did.
So when you went, did you want to go as, okay?
I just took the test.
Just took the test, not even thinking I'm going to join. You passed.
I took the test, because you can't just sit there.
Right.
So I just took the test.
And you passed. He didn't. So after you pass the test and they come back and say you passed, like, did you ask yourself, what do I do now?
I did. Okay. And I'll never forget it. I ended up with a migraine trying to figure it out. And the crazy thing is I was supposed to run a 5K with my son, and my head would not stop hurting because I was stressing. It's like I was okay where I was at Northwest. I was moving up in rank, so I was okay. And I had told him, I was like, I'm okay where I am at my job. And some guys that I knew from Dyersburg Bike Patrol, they were Big John, Sterling, and Eric, started talking to me, and I decided to go ahead and do it.
Okay.
My rationalization was behind it. Well, if I'm gonna get my butt whooped, at least I have a gun on my side. Because at the prison, all you got is some handcuffs. Yeah. So I feel the odds will get a little even, and I did it. So that relationship did not work because I did it.
Okay.
Which is fine. We all have a purpose in people's lives, and sometimes it's to get them to the next point, and then that season is over. And I was okay with that.
Understood. And so you were not necessarily in the law enforcement, but you were working in the prison.
Right.
So you had kind of a know of what to deal with, but just not on the street side.
Correct.
In patrol. And this is all at Dyersburg.
Yes.
So you got on, you passed your test, you got on, you are now a police officer at Dyersburg Police Department. 24 years later, what made you like, I'm still here?
I'm still here.
Like, what made you tell yourself, I can do this?
I like challenges, and I like when people tell me what I cannot do. So coming into that, and you have to think about it, this was 24 years ago.
Okay.
Dyersburg was really, really small. It's 5 officers a shift, and I was the only female on the streets. Yeah.
Now you weren't the first. I'm sure you weren't the first female, but you were the only one.
I was the only one on patrol.
Okay.
Yes, the only female patrol officer. And before so some guys had bets on me that I wasn't gonna make it out of the training program, that I wasn't gonna make it out of the academy, and I enjoyed myself at the academy. But they didn't know I had a blast.
Okay.
And that when I made it, I wouldn't last 6 months on the streets. So how competitive I am, when the stats came out that year, I was first in arrests and second in traffic citations. And
so they lost their bets.
They'll be all right.
They'll be all right. And now you are Lieutenant.
I am a Lieutenant
Staten here at Jackson Police Department. Your transition from Dyersburg to Jackson, what did you see in Jackson Police Department that made you want to come here? Or was it that, or was it just, want to change the scenery?
I got married.
Okay.
And he lived in Lexington.
Okay.
And I was driving back and forth. Because I was
from Dyersburg to Lexington?
Yeah. Because at that time I was domestic.
Okay.
And I was doing some undercover stuff.
Okay.
And I liked my job. And I liked my lieutenant, Patty Smith. I learned a lot from her. And one night, THP was doing a roadblock on, I think, 412, and I was dozing. And I almost hit him. And that was my realization that you can't keep
driving. That's a lot. That's a lot
of driving. And I was trying to figure it out. I had looked at Jackson. I had looked at Lexington PD. I come back to Jackson, and I said, okay, why not? And I put in for it. I think, I had the test.
So were you hired under Staples? Okay.
So
you took the test, came to JPD. So you've been in law enforcement 24.
But let me go back and give Barry Michaels some credit.
Okay.
Because I was doing some undercover work. Barry Michaels had already reached out to me that November.
Okay. While you were in Dyersburg.
While I was in Dyersburg, and had talked to Chief Staples about me.
Okay.
And so that kind of put the ball in motion too.
Okay.
And the following year I was here.
So
the following November, actually.
So 24 years total. This is what year with JPD?
This is I'm coming into my 21st year.
21st year at JPD. So you were just in Dyersburg for 4 years. Mm-hmm. Okay. 21 years in JPD. Moved up, again, like I said, you are Lieutenant State, the first woman to be lieutenant on patrol here in JPD. How is it being a woman, black woman police officer in just in law enforcement here in Jackson? How does that feel? And do you enjoy it, and or is it something that, like you say, you didn't want to do it at first? What are the challenges being a Black woman police officer in a place like Jackson, Tennessee?
No, I did not want to do it at first, but I'm so glad I did. Because I truly love my job. I mean,
oh, I know. I see
I
it.
love my job.
I love seeing you out there. You are a community person.
I try to be so, personal. I'm a giver anyway by nature, and I mean, I love the job. I love what I do. I know what people think about the job, but it's so much more than beneath the eye.
Right.
And as far as being a Black female, when I got to JPD, I was not the only Black female here. It was a lot of Black women here. Tammy Robertson, Peaches, you got Olivia Johnson, Carrie Hart. I mean, so when I got here, I was like, oh, wow.
Okay.
Yes. I was excited.
Yeah.
Angie Davis, Angie, my girl. So it wasn't hard. And then I've always worked East Jackson. So it wasn't a hard thing to be a Black female here in the uniform.
Okay.
Because, I'm just like you. Right. So when I get out the car, I'm officer or Lieutenant Staten, but I live in East Jackson. So when I get out the car, I'm dealing with my neighbor. So you built that community trust with the people. I've tried, yes, very much so.
And so from JPD, you become lieutenant, and you recently went to the FBI Academy. It doesn't necessarily mean you are now an I don't know. No. Maybe it doesn't mean that, but you went through a rigorous course, kind of, I guess, what they go through.
Yeah.
How was that? What was it like? Give us all the details all the details that you can.
It was it took me back, sitting here thinking about it, takes me back to that 2017 year of bodybuilding. Okay. So when I got to Quantico that first week, I was stressing because you have to qualify in the mile to get there. But I had total knee replacement in 2023 on my right knee. And so I was not running.
Okay.
So I had to start back running and try not to do too much running to damage the knee to get there. And so that first week I am stressed. And then I realized, you're the oldest thing.
Is this when you got there? You realize that?
You're the oldest thing here, right?
Yeah. So going back, what made you want to do this? Is this something the chief's like, I think you can do this? Or is it, hey, chief, I want to try this out?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
When I was in Dyersburg, that's when I first found out about the FBI National Academy.
Okay.
And I wanted to go because Jimmy Joyner had this yellow brick on his desk. And I was like, oh, what is that? And he told me, I said, I want one. How do I get one of those? And he's like, you have to run a 6.1 mile at Quantico, Virginia. I'm like, how do I get there?
How do I get it? Okay.
So
you one of those types, like, oh, I see that. I want that. I want that.
How do I get that?
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to let you have your own brick, but how do I get my own brick? But once again, life. Oh, my God. Life be lifing.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about the FBI National Academy.
Okay.
Totally. And so when I got here, I didn't realize people had went to the academy until Kemper went.
Okay.
And still, it didn't light a fire under me or something. I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
I didn't think no more about it. And then I went to an FBI leader class, 2023 in South Haven. Annie Kilpatrick, who is now New Orleans Chief of Police.
Okay.
Her and I she was teaching the class, and we had a side conversation. And I was trying to figure out how can I, because I'm on the downside of retirement, how can I top my resume? And if I decide to venture out when I retire in law enforcement, how does it make me more marketable?
Gotcha.
Because I got to compete.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got all these degrees, but what am I missing? And
Yeah.
she said, you need the FBI National Academy. Okay, so how do I do this?
Okay.
And she said, there's a guy in your class right now. He just got back. And I went to him.
Mm-hmm.
He told me who to call. I called him. And he said, hey, download the app. JPD is coming up next year.
Okay. So it rotates from departments?
It rotates because I think the state of Tennessee is losing a seat. Right now, the state of Tennessee has 5 seats when I went. Okay. But that's everybody. That's TBI, that's county, city, all
any
of
law
us.
Enforcement.
Any law enforcement. And you only get 5 seats. Okay. But your chief has to nominate you. You don't just go. Mm-hmm. Your chief has to nominate you, and then the FBI has to accept you. Mm. And they do that background check. Yeah. God lives, like filling out 5 different job applications rolled into one. I had to research stuff for old addresses, but so I did it. I downloaded the app, I did the application. Mm-hmm. I really don't remember how I kind of gave it to Chief Corley. I think I kind of did it in passing in a joking manner that I wanted to go, but never in a million years did I think he would send me.
Okay. So you get up there. First of all, you realize, wait a minute. So you're saying, yes, I can go?
Yes.
You're up there. It's 11 weeks. So you're essentially living in Virginia for 11 weeks. Yep. I was wondering why I hadn't seen you for a while. Yep. And
I stayed on base.
We see the notification that you just graduated the academy. I mean, seems like a big. First of all, for 5 seats in the state of Tennessee, you were chosen. You said this. You were the oldest one up there. I'm not going to say it. You said you were the oldest one up there. You're the first black woman from JPD to actually go up there and graduate. You got your yellow brick.
Yes.
How did that feel when you look back in 2017 when you saw somebody else's yellow brick say, you want yours? You got yours now. How did that make you feel?
Man, I got my yellow brick about like it did, but then I got my pro
card. You got the pro card.
I got mine.
You got yours.
I got it. And the beauty of it, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but you talking about a kid that come from poverty. Mm-hmm. Not only do I got it, but nobody can take it away.
Nobody, it's yours. It's got your name on it.
It's mine.
It's yours.
I earned it. It was not given.
And that says
I
a
earned
lot.
it.
That says a lot.
And that goes back to the pro card. It was not given. I earned it. And for Quantico, man, that first week, I was doubting myself. Me and God was having some serious conversation.
Every day.
I was like, listen, Lord, why are you and I had the perfect roommate. I love my little roommate. Because we both had similar situations. And one day out still, we're coming up to having to run the mile, and we had to do it on. So class actually started Saturday. Okay. You get there, it's
you start
on.
Right on.
It's on. It's rolling really, really fast. You got to get all these uniforms, your classes, and you're taking master level college classes. Okay. Trying to figure out this huge base, how to navigate the rules. The rules was crazy.
Yeah.
But that whole week, oh my God, I was stressing. I kept saying, I need to get this mile over with. So my PT was Wednesday, probably around lunchtime, I think. And the class before me, theirs got canceled. And I remember going in there and I found my PT instructor and I said, listen, man, you cannot cancel this class today. I need to make this run. He kind of looked at me, we're strangers.
Right.
I said, listen, the voices in my head, they are not nice to me. They're killing me.
I need to get out here and run.
I need to get it over with. And once I got it up, actually I ran faster than I thought. And I was really just in cruise control.
Okay.
I knew I could, once I got out there, getting out of my way, I knew I could do the run. I'm like, you've been a distant runner for how many years? Right. And actually, I really surprised myself. The time was good. I had a good time. And I was like, it is on now.
So you're up there 11 weeks and you graduate, you make it through, you come back to Jackson. Do you have a renewed sense of what you do here as a lieutenant in patrol for the city of Jackson after coming back from Virginia? Was there something new to you back in Jackson?
I learned a lot up there.
Okay.
I learned a lot. And surprisingly, I didn't think I would be putting it into use so quickly, but I am. But I learned a lot, first of all, about me.
Okay.
But I learned a lot about how to be a better supervisor. That was number one.
Okay.
So I kind of catered my classes to my weakness. I took a media class,
Okay.
how to talk to the press, how to deal with I took a cultivating women's
Okay.
class, hostage negotiation class, which was phenomenal.
Okay.
So everything because you pick your classes, and I looked up and was able to get everything that I chose. So I catered everything to what I thought was my weakness.
Okay.
So.
And so you're back in Jackson. Prior to coming here, you worked in Dyersburg as the domestic abuse officer. Here in Jackson, you are the co-founder and co-owner of The Place Jackson. It's a recovery home for homeless women.
Right.
Amazing program.
Yes.
I've been by the facility. I've heard the stories, the progress stories, just in the few years that you've been around. What made you, and I think it's Captain Jones, who's also a part of it, where did this idea come from, and why do you feel like this is something that's beneficial? I know why it's beneficial. I mean, for homelessness, women who want to come out of the homeless, population, how you say that. What made you feel like this is a big need for our area?
You gave me about 5 questions. So let me go through your questions.
Okay.
So it came about, let me say this, I am a big advocate for mental health.
Okay.
Your mental health. Whatever it looks like. Counseling. So for me to stay whole, I always believe in when I get bogged down with a lot of different other people's stuff, I go find a couch to sit on. And so that couch was Linda Langley.
Okay.
And so Linda and I became friends in the process. And one day, it took her 5 years to convince me now. It took her 5 years to convince me. She kept saying, we need. So I would go in and I would complain, oh man, I had to put up another lady or another family because resources was really scarce then. And for 5 years, I would be like, I'm coming out my own pocket, I'm complaining, but I'm complaining about it. Imagine that. And she would say, God has put it on her heart that her and I supposed to open a home for women. I was like, oh, no.
It was like, you ain't tell me that.
I said, God did not. I told her, I said, God did not give me that message. He gave it to you.
Yeah.
I know he knows my mailbox. But 1 year coming into COVID, she wore me down, and I said, okay, what do this look like? And so she mentioned Dr. Kim Hamilton, and I said, okay, to bring on board, because we knew we couldn't do it just her and I by ourselves. There was no way. It's too much. And I brought on Captain Daniel Jones. So and we created it together.
And does this kind of spawn from you doing, I know you said mental health was one of your big things, but coming from Dyersburg as a domestic abuse officer, homelessness, it might go hand in hand. I'm not saying it does, but did that help you make the decision, okay, God's telling you, so I guess I'll hop on. Did that help you make the decision on, yes, I want to go ahead and try to do this? Or is there a correlation of when you work in domestic?
No, it actually, it goes past my job. It's so much. It goes back to my mom, who I found out had mental health issues. It goes back to me when I divorced the military husband and moving to Milwaukee and thinking I had a place to stay with my kids, and I didn't. Okay. So it goes back to
it's personal.
It's personal. I know what it's like.
Okay.
I know what it's like to have that family. I know what it's like to be that person. So I know what it's like, and shame on me that it took me 5 years. To be honest, I was afraid of it. pretty much like 2017 going for my master. I was really more afraid of it and didn't think I deserved that master's card. That's why I was defeating myself. And same with the place. It took me 5 years because I didn't know we could do it. I didn't think we could pull it off, to be honest with you.
So it seems like a lot of stuff that you have accomplished, it falls back on that 2017. And, you know, from getting your pro card to becoming a police officer to going to the FBI Academy to starting the place Jackson, it seems like everything falls back on when you were in last place in 2017. Yeah. And you knew it's like something in the back of your head, you know you can do this, you know you want to do this. Yes. You really, it's almost like you telling yourself you needed to do this just to make 2017 Rochelle Staten be like, hey, it's going to be all right.
Yeah. 2017, I defeated myself. I was pretty much like going into Quantico. I was talking to myself, those voices. You know, I am that typical kid, and, you know, we all have childhood issues, and that negative talk, self-talk, which is why you need a counselor.
Right.
So, yeah, in 2017, I always say 2017 because that will forever be sketched in my mind because I know I didn't put the work in. And the crazy thing is, being last place, you would think I would have been disappointed. I was like, oh, well.
Right. Maybe it's not for me.
I needed an excuse. And that there it was. And I was like, so I'm done. But then something in me, and we all have it, that little
spark. Yes.
We got that fight. Everybody got it. Everybody. She's got to tap into it. And something is like, no, we're not done. I mean, done is when you get the pro card.
Right.
So,
yeah. So the place Jackson, how's it going? How's everything going?
Amazing. Oh, by the way, now it's nonprofit.
Okay.
So to the audience out there, we take donations.
You look at that camera right there.
Donations for the place. We are a nonprofit, 501c3. We are legitimate. We have managed to stay open by the grace of God.
And it's like I said, it's a wonderful program. The stories when we went up to for the Appreciation Day, the stories that the women who told us, and I guess I think I remember the woman who's kind of the head of house who's there went through the program. Is that
one of the Living Advocate?
The Living Advocate. She went through the program. So it's a full circle thing. They go through the program and they realize I can do this, and she's now the Living Advocate who can let the women who are coming in know, hey, I've been in your shoes. We can get through this. So for you, how does it feel to know that this is an accomplishment, another one of those yellow bricks, another one of those pro cards, that this is an accomplishment, that it's continuing to go on?
And the crazy thing is, I don't know. I don't hold on to it, I guess. Like, okay, it's like, okay, I got the pro card. Okay, I got lieutenant. Okay, I did Quantico. I got my yellow brick. Okay, we got the place. Okay, what's next?
I feel that. I love that.
What's next?
So with that, what's next?
I don't know.
You don't know? Hey, it might be another 5 years. It's fine.
I am a firm believer that you know what, whatever door God's open for me, I'm gonna walk through it. We are hoping to open another house. We just gotta make sure that the place Jackson can sustain herself, and then because we hold, and we're full.
Okay.
6 women.
Yeah.
We offer everything for people that don't know the place of Jackson. When you come in, because people have been so generous and donations with clothing, they don't have to come in with nothing, which most people don't have anything. And so the place, clothed, feed, house, as long as you work the program, we got you, and you can stay up to 2 years. And I'm not gonna say her name, but she's I'm very proud of her. She graduated from drug court and did everything that she was supposed to do, excel in it actually. And so she no longer had to stay there because I think she was court ordered.
Okay.
But she chose to stay there.
Okay.
And that speaks volumes.
It does. Yes. So, Lieutenant Staten, you have a story to tell, and it's an amazing one. And to have a story like that of starting where you were, getting to a place where, okay, I want to do this, failing at it, and then mastering it. And like I said, you got your card, you got your lieutenant status, you got your yellow brick, you got the place of Jackson, and you are a lieutenant at Jackson Police Department. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you. I love watching you work when you're out there. You have the community at heart, and City of Jackson it's blessed to have you as one of the great officers at JPD. So thank you for coming on to East Main 101. So that does it for East Main 101. But before we go, we do pop quiz, and pop quiz is just 3 questions for my guests, just to get to know you just a little bit better. So first question is, I go to the gym. Like I said, I'm not trying to do any shows or anything like that. But for someone who's wanting to get into lifting, not necessarily the IFBB, but lifting, what is some advice for a beginning lifter?
And you don't have to want to do a show. I say for anyone, do your research, number 1. Get a trainer, number 2, to get started so that you don't hurt yourself. Okay. I learned that the hard way too. And then find you a gym where you are comfortable. Here is a disclaimer. Everybody's not watching you when you walk in the gym. I know a lot of people are self-conscious about it. Oh, I don't want to go to that gym, or I don't want to go to that gym because everybody there is fit. No, everybody there is not fit. I can tell you because I'm no longer doing pro shows, so I'm not. But no one is watching you and judging you. And if you keep coming, you'll notice that they are happy to see you.
I can attest to that, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
I go to the gyms in the morning. It's the same group of people, and everybody in there is doing what they do. They ain't worried about me. No. I ain't worried about them. I got my headphones on. They probably got their headphones on. Nobody can really hear each other. But it has become like that 4 a.m. family. Yeah. We are in there, we speak, we say hey, and we go do what we got to do and get up on out of there.
It's like that old show, Cheers.
Yes.
When you walk in,
where everybody knows your name.
Everybody knows your name.
At the gym, nobody really, it's just
your face.
How you doing? It's your face.
It's your face. Yeah.
So, I started off, didn't get a trainer, but I did a lot of research on making sure that, I'm blessed and grateful that I haven't injured myself. I'm pretty good in the gym. I've got, and we can talk later after this, some tips for me. But so as a beginner lifter, just do it. Just go for it.
And get I'm one of those people. I can work out with or without someone. I'm versatile. Yeah. It doesn't matter to me because either way, I'm still going to do my own thing. And some days I do need that partner to push me. So get you a partner. If you're new in it, get you someone that on days you don't want to go, you need that friend to say, girl, come on.
Gotcha.
Let's go.
That's really good advice for a beginner. So the second question, when you're at the gym, what kind of music are you listening to?
I am R&B, and we talking about old school R&B.
Old school R&B.
Talking about Gerald Levert.
Oh yeah.
Now I would do some Alicia Keys because I like her. I like Leela James now.
Okay.
I'm a big Leela James fan, but I'm old school. Let me give my love to LL Cool J. Okay. On leg day, it's gonna be him and Tupac.
Okay. Well, I understand. Leg day, you gotta have just a little bit more push.
I need a little bit,
for
but normally I listen to R&B. I be grooving.
R&B. So, is it just something about R&B versus what typically? Well, I don't know what people listen to because it's their headphones, but you think a lot of people are possibly listen to like hip hop and like fast pace. What is about R&B that just?
I like the music.
Okay.
I cannot sing, but you don't know that. So I'll be over there moving my lips.
I feel that.
Rocking my head, talking to myself as I'm trying to get this weight up.
Listen, I'm the same way. I love my. It's R&B. My station on Pandora is the Vision station, or Robert Glasper, that kind of music. I love it, like the neo soul. People wonder, how you listen to that when you're trying to lift? Well, it's soothing to me.
It's soothing.
And I can focus on getting that weight up when I'm in there listening to my music.
Right.
I'm minding my business. You mind yours.
Right.
You do what you need
Let
to
me
do.
have my moment.
Let me have my moment. Let
Now,
me have my
when
music.
I was coming into 2018 competition. Now, I did have to change my music.
Okay.
Because I need some spiritual guidance. And so I did a lot of gospel with beat.
Okay. Awesome. So question number 3, what advice would you give to a black woman nowadays who wants to join any type of law enforcement?
What's stopping you?
Okay.
Because race doesn't matter. But I say this, since we're doing the race, it's not a lot of women as it is in law enforcement. I think 12% worldwide. And therefore, if you think about the number of minority women of color, that's got to be 3%?
Much less, yeah.
So if you want to make an impact on your community, why not law enforcement? I'm also a big sticker on education, though. I preach education too. I mean, you can get it while you work. Why not law enforcement?
Well, for me, my dad told me not to be, so no, I'm just kidding. But no, the story of the time my dad and all of my brothers went through the same thing. He always told us, when you get older, you don't need to be a police officer. You don't need to work for the post office. And there was one other one. So as a kid, listening to Dad, okay. But I look back, it's like, maybe I could have done it. But I enjoy what I do.
My dad was not having this job. Do you understand me?
Well, you weren't either, apparently.
Well, I wasn't, but oh my God, and I didn't realize how he really felt. And one day I walked in the house and he said something. He said, "You always getting them crazy jobs." And I was like, huh? But when I got sergeant, actually, I was getting ready to get lieutenant and didn't know it. And I just got my pro card.
Okay.
No, I just got my pro card, 2018.
Right.
I had a class in Illinois, Mississippi. Well, my dad is kind of in the backyard of Illinois, Mississippi. So I was like, I won't do a hotel. I'll just stay at my dad's because it was up the street.
Right.
Perfect. You talking about a bonding point. So I get there and you got this Jackson Police Department vehicle out there. And I never saw someone so proud.
I love it.
I thought, okay, we have a ride.
Okay. I love that. So he wasn't thinking police just like you were, but he didn't want you to do it, or
No,
is it?
he did not want me to do this job.
But now as Lieutenant Staten, he's the proud dad.
Yeah.
I love that. Lieutenant Staten, again, thank you, first of all, for taking that test and then coming to Jackson. Like I said, since I've met you, you are a gem to this city
Thank you.
for JPD, and I wish you continued success. I mean, you got that pro card, got your yellow brick, you got lieutenant. Who knows what's next? And we'll see.
We'll see.
I'm looking forward to whatever's next. I'm grateful that you are another chapter. I'm grateful that you are here with us at JPD and City of Jackson. Thank you for coming on East Main 101.
Thank you.
Lesson 26. So that does it for Lesson 26 of East Main 101. Don't forget to follow us on all of our government social media accounts and opt in to our text alerts by visiting connect.jacksontn.gov. And also be sure to visit eastmain101.jacksontn.gov to subscribe to our YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcast channels to listen to each lesson in its entirety. And until next lesson, class dismissed.